If you don't pay your bill on time, I will send you pictures of me.
And you don't want to see this stuff, really, you don't.
You really don't.
You're listening to the Help Me with HIPAA podcast, where HIPAA and humor collide to make learning fun. Your delightful hosts are Donna Grindle and David Sims. Relax, HIPAA help is on the way.
I'm Michelle Lombard from Georgia Spine Orthopedics, and you're listening to the Help Me with HIPAA podcast.
Thank you for the intro. I'm David Sims of HIPAA for MSPs and Security First IT, and joining me is Donna Grindle of Carden. Good morning, Donna.
Good morning, David. How are you today?
I am confused.
Okay, so that's a normal day.
Yeah. So, yeah. I got up this morning, I'm like, oh, crap, it's Friday.
Really?
Does anybody else losing track of what day it is because you're at home?
Yeah, there's some, I saw some show that like a local news station or weather person has to put up the day. Mm-hmm. Today is this every day.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out whether I should call it Friday or do I need to say this is Monday plus 4 or something.
Then you have to do math, David. And really, let's just don't have you doing that. Okay?
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea. You're right.
You know, you could do Sunday, you could do Saturday -1. Now that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, maybe. Then I got to figure out when does it roll over. Hump day.
There you go.
So, yeah. But anyway, yeah, everything else is going as well as can be expected. Like most of the business owners out there, I'm trying to get my money.
Yeah, we're stressing a bit.
Yeah,
just trying to make sure, you know, I want to protect my business, my clients, and my staff, and you know, there's a lot of things happening. So,
yep, applying for all these loans or grants or whatever they end up being. I don't know. Who knows?
I know, really.
Yeah. So, and then in the meantime, you know, trying to handle all the craziness that's going on in the client's world, in our world, and then, you know, also the family world because everybody's around all the time. It's like, don't you have somewhere to go?
Yeah. I do love all of the videos. I mean, it will make it easier for those of us who work from home now, you know, that, oh, I work from home and now everybody gets it.
Yeah.
So,
well, I tell you, if this would have happened a couple of years ago when all 4 of my kids were home, holy moly. I'm right now just have 1 and the dog, and that's enough. Between him and the dog, it's noisy. So, yeah, the other 4, oh, Lord have mercy. It would have been a mess.
And did you ever get things worked out with United Airlines, them being a little less than cooperative?
I did. They, you know, I called them out on Twitter. They communicated with me on Twitter, and I think they ended up basically they have a department set up to handle social media communication. Oh. And so the people there funneled me into somewhere else. And the weirdest thing is they needed to talk to my son, which was like, okay, I purchased the ticket. He's he's the person flying. Why do you need to talk to him?
Yeah. But
I was like, okay, I'll humor you and let's see where this goes. And so anyway, they talked to him over Facebook or something like that, Messenger. Anyway, he came back. My son came back a couple of hours later, and like they said that you'd be getting a refund in the next, 5 to 7 days. I said, okay. So they're doing it.
So for those of you who missed it, David's sons, 2 of them are in Japan, and you were one of them was flying home, right?
Yeah, he had planned to come home in May, and obviously nobody can come home. The military is not allowing travel, as are most people. And so when I canceled the flight and asked for a refund, United Way sends me an email that goes, can you provide documentation as to why your son can't fly?
Can't leave the base.
And I'm like, are you serious right now?
Yeah.
I mean, any other time, sure, I get it. But seriously? They didn't give him documentation.
Who needs that right now? Yeah. So it wasn't United Way that you said. Let's be clear. It wasn't United Way.
Is that what I said?
Charity is United Airlines.
Is that what I said? United Way?
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah.
It was the way he was going to get home.
Yeah.
No, it was United Airlines.
Well, I'm glad to hear you resolve that, and proud of you for using Twitter.
I know. I don't Twitter much. I was like, how does this thing work? How many characters do I have now?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but it was funny because I was like, okay, you need documentation at United Airlines. Here it is, and I linked them to, like a USA Today article that said military can't go anywhere. It's like, geez, really? It's just
here's your documentation.
Come on now, that was ridiculous.
Read the news. There's your documentation. Well, I'm glad that got worked out because that could have been a scam.
Yeah, now I got to start canceling some other things I got coming up in May for some IT conferences and Airbnb places that, I've been holding out as long as I can to see if, somehow this thing dissipates.
Right.
To the point
then
now
we can get back to normal, those kind of things.
There is no normal.
Which, it's a new normal now. But I will say that that's a great segue into right now, as of today, we have not canceled either the August boot camp, which is scheduled, or the rescheduled March one. So the spring one that'll be in August, August 18th, 19th, and 20th is the one that is the spring one. And we have not altered our September 15th, 16th, and 17th date in San Pedro, California.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go to thehippobootcamp.com and check everything out there. If you are interested, would like some more information, don't hesitate to let us know. And you can register right now, but everybody's holding off. But once that stuff starts flowing, be ready, because you want to make the boot camp.
Sure enough.
At thehippobootcamp.com.
It's always funny.
I know, just to us, we don't, you got to understand that mostly this is just to humor us.
If I can't have fun, then we're stopping. As I look at episode 251, so we've done pretty well entertaining ourselves.
Yeah.
Also a reminder out there, we need some reviews and some ratings. We haven't had any in a little bit. So, let us know you're still out there. You're still listening. You enjoy it. We do get emails that tell us that people are enjoying it. So thanks for those people who have emailed. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of times they email with a question that starts with, I'm a loyal listener and love it, blah, blah, blah. Now answer me this.
But we do appreciate all of our listeners, and we certainly appreciate our donors who go to helpmewithhippo.com and sign up to donate and give us
your kidneys. A little bit. We don't do the kidney car program. We do the kidney podcast program.
Anyway, we appreciate those who donate to us, either a one-time donation or each month. It helps us keep the lights on and makes it worth it for me to put up with David. Anyways.
Better increase the donation levels.
Feel free to reach out to us on social media and share us with people, because now's the time people should be listening, because you got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Unless you're like us. I'm still working probably more hours than normal. Anyways.
It doesn't matter. If people want to buy us a cup of coffee, they can go to the website and donate.
There you go.
It's whatever you want to do. I'll tell you what, we'll do it this way. If you have any kind of compliance work that needs to be done, reach out to Carden.
Mm-hmm.
At least start a conversation.
Yes.
Don't tell me you know HIPAA when you can't spell it.
Or you don't know who OCR is.
Yeah. And for those of you that are in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, and you need IT support and security and compliance, reach out to Security First IT. There you go. There's your ads. All right, let's move on.
Okay, good job. So we got some messages from our listeners. One's about a previous episode, and the other one blended perfectly into this episode. So I thought we could cover the first one, and then we'll just go right into the episode and blend in the second one. What do you think, David?
Sure enough.
So the first one is from George from an unnamed location. Right, George?
He's hiding.
And I love the fact that he mentions episode 248, telehealth thingy.
It's bad. It's bad when we have George Fenton emailed in so often that we just call him George now.
Yeah. Sorry, George. He said unnamed location, so I'm trying to, keep him.
Trying to keep him safe.
Yeah.
Well.
But he added some specific telehealth dealing with unsecured options to their P&P, and I thought it was great. We're including them in the notes if you want to go get them, but it's just reminders to say, ensure you're following all policies and procedures when you're engaging with the clients, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Be aware of potential social engineering attacks and always clarify the client info, including contacting the client back using the information that you know. So don't fall for somebody sending you something and saying, I'm so-and-so.
Yeah.
You just say, great, I'll contact you with your contact info or something like that. Yeah. Advise clients we will only communicate with them in a certain official manner and list those official ways, which, keeps your clients from dealing with social engineering attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And when utilizing any communication app not previously approved for use under standard privacy and security requirements, which I did reword a little bit of this. Under standard privacy and security requirements of HIPAA, advise the client that the communication is not HIPAA secure and request that they not record the session, which is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, again, if you don't record your visit in the office, why should you record the televisit? And there's some security features now in Zoom and certainly in some others that allow you to say, I will not allow the guest to record.
Yeah. Yeah. Since Zoom is getting beat up right now.
And recommend with the client that you use an approved communication method when possible. The non-HIPAA alternatives are a last resort. So, yeah, put that language in, and those are some great things to just go ahead and add them to your policies and procedures for teleworking.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say for some of these people out here, they're like, I need to have X, Y, and Z telehealth option. If you have to go with the non-HIPAA alternative to get you off the ground, then you should be using that time to then find the proper one to move to.
Well, and we still have the same concern that if you start off.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, getting people to change back is going to be very hard to do.
Yep.
So thanks, George, from an unknown location for that.
Mm-hmm.
And let's get into the coronavirus scams galore.
Mm-hmm.
And we had, for those of you who will get this, we had to have a conversation about James Bond names so that we just get it out of our head so we wouldn't blurt it out.
I was going to say, that was just your way of telling me, don't say that.
Well, no, I told you I'm having an issue. I want to just blurt it out too. So, but let's not.
Let's not.
So, but we can start with this great email that we have from a happy, loyal listener. Tom Cannon sent us this email. And I was already thinking, what are we going to do next? Saw this email, and then this other alert came out perfect to include them together.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. So, David, do you want to read the email and share what it is? Or are you going to leave that to me?
Sure, I'll do it.
All right.
This is exactly like what I was talking about. I love you. Now answer me this.
This one's not that, though.
No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I wasn't reading far enough ahead. All right. So Tom writes, first, I love your podcast and listen to it every week. Honestly, I missed a few due to the virus taking up my time with remote work, but I'll catch up. Second, I found a hippopapa in the wild. And then he gives a link to a YouTube video and thought you might enjoy seeing this, although it does sound like a group of scumbags trying to make a buck off of this horrible pandemic we're all living through. Please keep up the fantastic work. A lot of us really count on the work that you do. So thank you, Tom. I do work very hard producing this podcast. I don't know why Donna laughs every time I bring that up. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I watched the video and
it was hysterical.
And it's like, really, so for those who haven't seen it yet, the hip-hop thing is funny. Yes. I love finding them anywhere I can, even sometimes in official documentation, I find it. But this is a COVID-19 testing center, I guess you could say.
Site.
Pop-up tent site in the parking lot of a convenience store. Really? I don't think they would do this in a convenience store parking lot.
No.
No.
It's in Louisville, Kentucky. And thankfully the reporters were there and calling them out. And apparently they were like moving around to different parts of town until they finally ran them off.
Yeah. But did you notice that it's not just misspelled, the hippopapa, but they're HIPAA certified.
Exactly.
And they have a certificate of completion.
Yeah. And it's kind of blurry, so I can't read the.
I know. I so bad want to see it. I was
trying everything I could to get it paused where I could see what that said.
It's like, who did it? I want to know who put this out. But I can imagine somebody went and took one of these, $10 courses. Or maybe they didn't even do that. Maybe they just
made it. That looks like what did they call it? The templates in Microsoft Word or something.
It does. Yeah, it does.
For a certificate. But I love that they're showing the interview clip, and here's this guy standing there talking about how he has run hospitals for years, and all of these people are, professionals, and but what they're doing is charging $250 for a coronavirus test.
Yeah, and people were backed up.
Yeah,
they
lined up doing it. And thankfully, one of the city council members was there. There were some other little cray things going on, but
yeah, I like the woman with the different color hair. She was tripping me out.
She was little, but it was clear from my perspective because they said that I don't remember what the name of the lab was they were sending it to, but I'm sure the lab didn't even exist.
It was the lab.
I know. But even if the lab existed, probably not getting anything, because my guess is they got all those people out in their little hazmat gear with their hoods up and the mask, so you can't see the people working there.
I know.
Right? Which I'm sure that was helpful for them when all these video and reporters were everywhere.
Yeah.
But the guy's going, this is all legit, and people need this testing, and $250. And it's more than likely Medicare fraud that they're going to do because they're taking people's information and, they're going to do an insurance fraud. I can almost guarantee it.
So it's not a HIPAA violation? I just want to be clear.
I know, right? And they had a sign that said, we are HIPAA certified with their certificate. And I loved it. He's all, braggadocious, and the other guy with him braggadocious, and the reporter, and I love the reporter has their social distancing wand.
I know. Holding a microphone out way in front of them.
Yeah. And you hear the guy go, but you're not even spelling HIPAA right.
I know. I was impressed.
That one of the reporters knew it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and you could see the guy's face. What? What are you talking about?
Yeah. What do you mean?
So I clipped that little piece so that we would have it forever in case we lose it. That look on his face, you're not spelling HIPAA right. What?
Yeah, I know.
He kind of got a little nervous then.
It's my guy too, because I'm like, that's the first thing I would point out. You misspelled it, because I do that to people.
So go ahead, because you had a similar experience recently.
Yeah, well, let me before we move from that one, I have to say, the funniest part of the whole video, is the woman that's walking around with the colored hair.
Oh my God.
She is not livid that people are being scammed for $250.
No.
She is livid because someone is collecting the DNA of local residents.
Yeah, she's certain. The city council guy is, he's running them off and filming them and doing his part to protect his constituents. He's clearly worried about the right things.
Is you is or is you ain't. My
I know. But then there's this lady with pink hair or red, it's weird colored, running around filming everybody. They're collecting your DNA.
I know.
They're throwing away those samples. They ain't collecting no DNA.
Yeah, it was. It's an interesting clip. Interesting clip.
Yeah, it is. It's great. You can't miss the DNA because it really is. You're right. It's really. You get a little bit of that cray added into the real stuff.
Yeah.
I loved it that they included it in their report.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that kind of goes into. I'm assuming you're talking about the security incident in my email inbox.
Oh no.
No. Okay.
Well, just when they point out that he can't even spell HIPAA, you got that look on his face where he kind of peed just a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you can't even spell HIPAA, yet you have run hospitals and you know all about managing healthcare.
Okay.
And you dealt with somebody that was well versed in HIPAA.
Okay. Yeah. So
why we think being able to spell HIPAA matters.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting, as we say this all the time, that if you can't spell it, then I automatically assume you don't know what you're talking about. And so this is kind of the same thing as we watch this video. That's exactly what they use to say you're not legit because you can't spell it. So just want to throw that out there.
We were right.
Yeah, as always, we were right. So yeah, for those of you running around and you have the HIPAA certification and you can't spell it, or everything about HIPAA and you can't spell it, or you've got it on your website and you can't spell it, no, we are not talking about that. We are not talking HIPAA we're not talking the HIPAA that I am used to.
Unless you're my friend Tony, that for some reason, I swear he taunts me and he's like, I don't know, it's somewhere in my autocorrect.
Sure. Yeah. But yeah, I did have a prospect recently that I was talking to, and they brought up that they were a HIPAA covered entity. And I was like, well, great. Because, that's kind of my forte. And she's like, oh yeah, we've been doing this for years. I know lots about HIPAA and blah, blah, blah. And of course, anytime somebody says that, I'm already rolling my eyes going, oh gosh. And so I made a comment about, having OCR at our boot camps and how I, have some contacts there in case I ever have questions that they may have. So after like 2 minutes of talking about this, she goes, well, what's OCR? And I was like, I didn't say anything. I just stopped. I was like, okay, we're clearly not on the same page.
Yeah, it's how do you spell HIPAA right away? You wanted to say.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, you don't know who OCR, probably don't know who HHS is. Yes. So anyway.
Well, they know HHS because, they cover CMS and some other stuff.
You'd think so, but who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But
the sad thing is this is happening everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's these scams are ridiculous and that people are paying. What money you have, you shouldn't be paying 250 of it to scammers.
Yep.
But this little gem,
yeah, thanks, Tom,
with the hippa was brilliant. For catching it, Tom, you win a special reward. Not that we have anything to give you, but it's a special reward. It's thank you.
We give you a free shout out on International Podcast Radio. You are famous now.
Thank you, Tom.
Tom, the hippa guy.
But that takes us into the bigger picture, the coronavirus alert, the scam alert that came out just like yesterday, this week.
Mm-hmm.
And, I get those CISA alerts, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA.
Yep.
Part of the Department of Homeland Security. But I rarely get one that starts when it starts by saying that it is a joint alert from the United States Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, and the United Kingdom's National Cybersecurity Center. And it's really the United Kingdom because it spells center, CENTRE.
It has to be legit.
That means there's some stuff going on. That we're doing it cross-pollinating, so to speak. And they even add to it, this is a fast-moving situation. This alert does not seek to catalog all COVID-19 related malicious cyber activity. Individuals and organizations should remain alert to increased activity related to COVID-19 and take proactive steps to protect themselves. And they have a lot in this alert.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. And it's first there's the COVID-19 stuff, but all of the regular stuff is going out right now too. So don't think that it's just the things we're about to talk about. These aren't the only ones. The other regular stuff also still going out. David just got one.
I did. Apparently somebody has video of me on adult sites. With enjoyment, I think, as it said.
Huge shame.
Yeah. Huge shame. So.
Yeah. You need to pay Bitcoin or I'm going to release it to all of your contacts that I found on your computer.
It's good because I can't get to respond either. Maybe this will get a response.
Go for it.
Yeah. If you don't pay your bill on time, I will send you pictures of me.
And you don't want to see this stuff. Really, you don't.
You don't.
But so don't think that they're diverting everything to COVID-19 is one important point I wanted to make. We've got a link to the document. There's no way we could include everything that's in there because there's so many discussions. But they point out cyber criminals are using the pandemic for commercial gain, deploying a variety of ransomware and other malware. Both APT groups and cybercriminals are likely to continue to exploit the COVID-19 pandemic over the coming weeks and months. Threats observed include phishing using the subject of coronavirus or COVID-19 as a lure, malware distribution with these kinds of lures, registration of domain names containing words related to coronavirus or COVID-19, and attacks against newly and often rapidly deployed remote access and teleworking infrastructure.
I just think it's funny how you say lures.
Lures.
Lures. We say lures.
Lures.
We put a W in it down here.
Lures.
Lures.
Okay, well, we'll have a class later on all the different dialects and how they say lure.
I just want to make sure people listening don't go, what is a lure?
A lure?
Lure?
A lure.
Yeah, like fishing lure.
They're luring you in. Lure. lure. Oh dear me! You see, this is how David contributes to the production of the podcast. Y'all are experiencing it right now. This is his contribution. Oh, but they included subject lines and with scary things. But we always tell you, when it comes to phishing, the number one thing they're trying to do is create a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And if any email creates a reaction, stop and think about it.
Yes, I agree.
And there's stuff like new confirmed cases in your city and outbreak in your city, emergency.
Get your money here.
Yeah, that's the next ones we're going to see.
Yeah, I think everybody's shifting their focus from the coronavirus. So where's my money?
Mm-hmm. But they're going to say, coronavirus stimulus, coronavirus payment.
Yeah.
This stuff is going to continue now for a year.
Yeah,
put in your
bank account information so we can direct deposit it.
Yeah. No. Stop. Don't do it. And they're doing it on mobile devices. They're smishing the SMS messaging. They're putting them into WhatsApp messages. It's going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to get better. And we were just talking about, we don't even know what money we qualify for. I hope that I'm getting all the things that I qualify for to keep my business running and keep paying people. And I'm studying this stuff. So you can imagine people that aren't running a business, they don't have to do it like we do. Can you imagine how confused they must be?
Yeah.
Well, wait, how confused are you, David?
I stay there. That's the state I'm in.
I know, right? I know. But don't you think it's going to get crazy?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely it is. Because even now I'm seeing emails which are legit, but they're talking about, coronavirus PPP alternatives. So I'm like, oh, cool. There's other things out there. And these are legit emails, but think about how that could be not legit.
Oh, yeah. But why would you need a PPP alternative,
Well, it's just there's other plans
that
are
crazy.
Yeah, there's other things out there other than this because some people aren't able to get to it. Like, was it Wells Fargo? They're like, dude, we're out of money. We're done.
Yeah. Well, there are plenty of companies, banks and fintech companies that are still taking applications.
Mm-hmm.
I was thrilled to hear that mine's been approved by SBA. Now we just have to see how many months it takes to get the money.
Yeah.
But I feel quite fortunate because I have a friend who's a banker, and that makes things, I appreciate him more now. I always appreciated my friends, but I special appreciate him right now.
Yeah. I like them a lot more when they can do stuff for me.
But needless to say, it is going to get way worse. They're going to be coming out of the woodwork. It's going to come from everywhere.
Yep.
Because the confusion about the stimulus checks
mm-hmm.
that we're all supposed to get. And if you direct deposited your tax refunds and you gave them your bank account, boom, the money's going in. No more concerns. But what if I get those and then I get an email that I was supposed to get more and they need my bank account?
Mm-hmm.
No, don't do it. Don't give anybody your stuff.
Yep.
Keep your stuff. Don't share your stuff.
Yep. Keep it zipped up.
Oh. Anyways, what we want to make sure that we encourage our listeners to do is to spread the word. Tell your family, tell your friends who aren't, listening to this kind of stuff. They don't stay in this loop because there's so many of us now in the same boat, and that never happened before.
Mm-hmm.
They did a lot during tax season anyway. That was like a peak time for this kind of activity. And, now it's just a free-for-all. because you got the taxes, you got the stimulus money, you got the healthcare funding.
Oh, there's
it's
many
crazy.
opportunities right now. Tons of opportunities.
So you proactively go to approved places. Don't do things based on what you see in an email. And please do not do things based on what you see in social media forwarded from your grandparents.
Yeah, there is that.
And if you're a grandparent, yeah, I meant you. Just kidding. Yeah. I don't get on there too much. We know for a reason. But a big, big gaping hole. And this gets to more to the people who manage their networks. And again, it gets back to not having an incident response plan. The vast majority of our businesses clearly did not.
Yeah.
I think we can check that off.
Yep.
That now we can say this is why you need one.
Or some people were like, on the other side of this thing, after they're working from home, we're like, well, did your incident response plan help? And they're like, oh crap, I forgot I had one. So yeah, in the heat of the moment, you forget what you even have at your disposal.
Oh, I haven't heard you say that one, but I'm sure it did happen. But that's why we're around, is to remind you have an incident response plan or that you need one.
Mm-hmm.
But because there was a lack of one and a lack of planning, and it's not, IT folks are just as guilty in some ways as others, You had yours in place and tested.
Yeah.
But I don't think all others did.
No. And I have to admit, every time I see somebody posting on social media about, thank you to the healthcare workers and the first responders and the, truck drivers and all these other, thank you for all these industries. And they don't mention IT. I'm like, dadgummit.
Yeah, we're keeping the world moving.
I know. I start firing off. I'm like, dude, y'all have no, it's like we're the behind the scenes people
Always.
that we're still in the basement. If not anything but mentally, we're still in the basement.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
the IT crowd.
I'm like, dude, yeah. I'm like, really? Who do you think made sure everybody could work from home at a moment's notice from an environment that was not set up to work from home, using an instant response plan that wasn't there?
And everybody's functioning.
Exactly. I'm like, dude, they need to, you have a gold medal for the IT industry as a whole. Really.
Yeah. It's the ones who have made it happen and kept it up and running. As Tom mentioned in his, he hasn't even been able, we've been super busy. I haven't even been able to listen to the podcast because I've been helping people remote work.
Yeah.
I know I'm helping people.
Mm-hmm.
I shared one of my friends' messages with David. They're not technical people out there, people.
I know. And the scary part is there's we've talked about it sometimes where there's a big divide between what works and then what works properly.
Yeah.
Especially when you put security in there. And man, there are so many people that are working from home that are not doing it in a secure manner, nor is it proper or anything else. It works, maybe.
Yeah. They've slapped it together.
Yeah.
And not planned it. And that's where we're going to have all these problems.
Yes.
And that was a big point in this alert, is that the slap together teleworking infrastructure that we've built is loaded with problems.
Yeah. As if we didn't have enough.
As if we didn't have enough. Because, first of all, they point out that there's several different VPN products that have vulnerabilities, and some have patches. And we're talking big names: Pulse Secure, Fortinet, Palo Alto.
Yeah.
They're being exploited. The vulnerabilities and guidance, and the people need to stay on top of this stuff and not assume everything's fine because it's working.
Yep.
If it's working for you, it's also working for the criminals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which brings me to the scariest part of the whole thing. And they referenced an article, and by the way, they linked to a ton of different articles and references to vulnerabilities. It's a really good reference guide to all the different things that are going on. I highly recommend that you go. We have a link to it in here. And why are you doing that? It's a dollar word and a 50-cent sentence. But
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting on you to say, what does that mean?
You're planning. So, okay. So now just to catch you guys up is David and I work from the same document, and he can highlight things and I will see them when he's remembering, or, hey, let's don't forget this. We do it all the time. Never needed to bring it up until now. When I have a sentence in my notes, that problem will only exacerbate the ransomware attacks that Microsoft mentioned in an article March 5th. And he's highlighted exacerbate because clearly he thinks it's a dollar word and a 50-cent sentence.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure that
you're prepared.
that I am
you've
prepared.
Looked it up.
Yes.
Have you looked it up?
Well,
did you know it?
I know what it means. I want to make sure I know what it means. I'm like, it's to make things worse, right? Because it's like Donna to go, do you know what that means, David? And then I might say something stupid.
Like you just did. But the thing that will exacerbate the ransomware attacks is that the number of unsecured RDP, exposed remote desktop protocol connections, has gone up 127% in the surge. Now, go ahead, David. Give us the IT explanation why that screams this will exacerbate the ransomware attack problems.
Because it is a bad idea.
It will make things worse.
It'll make things significantly worse, which would be exacerbated.
I was excited that we had finally turned the corner where phishing was the number one ransomware attack vector. Really, it seemed like we really turned the corner because previously exposed RDP had been the number one attack vector.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've increased the exposed RDP 127%, and it's guaranteed they're not secure.
I'm surprised it's not more, because I can guarantee you that a lot of these businesses out there, the small businesses, somebody says, oh, I know how you can remote into your computer. All you do is this.
Yeah.
Because, my 12-year-old son's a genius. Or, I'm the doctor that can do brain surgery, but I also know how to turn on RDP.
Yeah. Because you can make it work doesn't mean you can make it secure. And not taking the time to secure it, we're on the back end of this, it's going to be brutal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
they're sitting there waiting.
Here's another thing, is that in the rush to do all of this telework stuff, there's going to be a problem when people go back to the quote unquote normal, and we didn't turn off all the things that we turned on.
Oh, yes.
To make this stuff work.
The number of times that we know of people that got attacked because they turned that on and then forgot to turn it off.
Yep.
And later they're attacked because nobody's paying attention.
Or, it's like, let's turn this little piece of security off today so we can get this working. Then we'll turn it back on tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes.
Tomorrow never happens.
Yeah.
It's like free beer tomorrow.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, that's going to be a huge issue because, especially for even the good IT companies, we're so pushed to get this done so quickly for so many people that we didn't have the time to do things the way we typically do it and document everything properly and all that, because everybody's just running around with their hair on fire.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an issue.
So if you haven't listened to our How Do We Reboot Our Businesses, go back and work on the list of what all did we do? Did it work? Did it not work? what do we have to undo to put this stuff back together and rebuild our network securely? Because if you're going to keep the ability to do some of this, and I think a lot of companies will, because it has been successful when others didn't think it would.
Yeah.
And it's been a petri dish in so many ways.
Yeah, I mean,
it's an experiment, seriously.
On the other side of this, businesses should put a complete and thorough risk analysis on the top of their priority list.
Yeah, you've got to do it. You've got to do a new one. If you haven't done one recently, start over, evaluate everything that's happened, and you need to be checking your networks because so many of them are going to be infiltrated between unsecured home computers that have been connecting to unsecured or vulnerable VPN connections or RDP connections, and stuff's crawling.
Yeah. Well, we had a client yesterday, fortunately not healthcare, called and they were having a printing issue. So I was like, well, what printer do you have? Because we don't, you're talking about a printer copier. I don't know anything about a copier. And so, and it's a small client. They have like 3 computers. And so they tell us about the copier and they're like, it's not printing. And so I was like, well, we don't have any documentation on it. Tell me what it says on the display or whatever. But so what it boiled down to was they were saying they wouldn't connect it to the Wi-Fi. And I'm like, you don't have Wi-Fi. And she's like, yeah, we got this little white box over here. It says Netgear with antennas on it. And I'm like, well, who put that in there? We thought you did. No, we didn't put it in there.
Oh my God, how'd it get there?
The only thing I can think of is the copier company, right? Because it needs to work.
Oh, yeah.
And so come to find out, the Wi-Fi was there because, you know what? They need to be able to print wirelessly, and we just need to make it work. Well, the Wi-Fi access point, we found out, still had the default username and password on there. And it had one Wi-Fi channel on it that was not secure, completely open to the public. And that's the one they had everything connected to so it could print. So anybody could sit in the parking lot and access anything on that network.
Because the copier people installed it.
I'm assuming it was the copier people because the client, they're not savvy enough to do that.
Well, and that you don't use that equipment.
No.
You use a specific kind of equipment.
Right. Yeah, this is stuff you buy at Walmart.
Well, and it could have been somebody's neighbor's son who's good with computers.
Could have been. So. Yep, could have been. But
it wasn't you.
No, because no.
But yeah, you're right. If that's how that copier printer worked, then it had to, more than likely, if it was connected wirelessly, you got to assume that's where it was put in. And I would go query whoever put that in to say, hey, are you working with any of my other clients that haven't mentioned to me this is here?
Yeah, well, the thing about it is they don't even know where they got a copier from. It's one of these. It's one of these things where the lady's like, "Well, I've only been here 6 months, and the previous person purchased this. I don't know."
Somebody walked in off the street with this copier and this wireless network, and we said, "Hey, we need one."
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You have to scratch your head, but anyway. But the point being that people need to do a complete assessment of their networks and of how things are set up now, because things have changed. And you either need to revert back to how things were set up before, or you need to make sure you fully document how things are set up now.
One or the other. Or how about you do both?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because many didn't do it. But clearly, our reboot is going to involve finding a lot of problems based on the volume and the fact that we're doing joint announcements because there's so many. They even said, we can't begin to catalog all of them. Here's a link to somebody that's keeping one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is going to be a mess. It is going to be a mess.
But we're here for you. We're here.
Yeah.
We're here.
Be plenty of fodder for future episodes.
Because lots of things that David do will exacerbate the problems.
Yes, it will.
Things that David do
That's what you said.
Mm-hmm. I was waiting to hear something back from you, but no,
I'm just gonna
things that David do, that gave me my, 50-cent sentence, but I threw my dollar word in there.
Yeah, I was waiting on you to put a .com on the end of it and make a website. Thingsthatdaviddo.com.
Okay, well, I think on that one we're done for this episode, but we'll be back. We are not shutting down, at least not right now.
Nope.
I'm still putting up with him. You're welcome.
Yep. Well, I guess the good thing is we're not making any money on the podcast anyway, so it's not like we're not getting paid. So we're good.
Yeah, there you go.
No PPP funds are going to keep us up and going.
Thank you, donors.
Yeah. Well, Donna, that's money you're using to put up with me. So I'm assuming that's paying for your medication. It's not keeping us on the
air. Well,
so
just to clarify,
thanks for your Xanax.
Yeah, it puts a dent in the hosting bill, doesn't it? Maybe something like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely does. No, it helps. I'm just joking. It helps a lot. So, and we've tried to, keep from putting too many commercials in and all that, because we've had people, ask, "Hey, can I stick some commercials on here?" And typically, there are people that we don't want to put commercials on here.
Well, we feel concerned that we don't want to be. Yep, that's a whole nother story. We're done for the day.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if you're not a listener, just know we will not publish your content. I'm tired of getting people emailing us and saying, I went to your website or I listened to your show and I noticed that you take guest content. And I'm like, no, we don't take guest content. No time have we said that, nor have we published that on our website. So go somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. TTFN.
Yeah. GTFO. All right. Enough acronyms for today. So that is our show for today, folks. Thanks for listening. Hope you share this out on your favorite social media site and give us a rating. Send us some email or hate mail. It doesn't matter. We'll read it all. Remember, for Donna and myself, that HIPAA is still not about compliance. It's about patient care.
You've been listening to the Help Me with HIPAA podcast, hosted by Donna Grindle and David Sims. The show created to help you with HIPAA. For more information or to ask us a question, visit our website at helpmewithhipaa.com. Neither Donna Grindle or David Sims are attorneys, and they do not offer binding legal advice concerning regulatory compliance. The information in this podcast should not be relied upon or construed as legal advice in any way. Consult your attorney for legal advice concerning compliance with HIPAA regulations.